All right, I'm so excited to actually begin this talk. Um, I've been hearing from different people about dreams, and I've been getting questions about this topic for a while. And recently, I have decided to actually dedicate my time, not all of my time, but to dedicate some time on doing more researches on the concept and the whole framework of studies by Carl Jung about dream interpretation. So it's not like my work is going to be completely embodying Carl Jung, but it's going to bring a lot of his wording and perhaps like the way how he understands from his experience. And actually, a lot of those researchers and book authors or doctors who sort of like left some wisdom for us in this abstract word. Most of like what they brought in wasn't from books and studies in the past. It was mostly like from their own experience. And you probably noticed that a lot of the things I talk about in my own videos, in my own um, framework, is also from my own point of view, from my own awareness, from what I kind of see from my third eye, right? So, dreams is a pretty deep topic, and I'm really excited to discuss it with you all here in this video. First, we just want to start out like introducing like the whole concept of dreams. Like, what are dreams? Dreams have been a subject of mystery dating as far back as 4000 BC and have recently emerged as a whole new study in the field of psychology. As you probably know, dreams have been around for as long as the civilization came to be and have been a normal part of human existence. Yet it is a riddle to many. So in our dreams, we can go anywhere, we can be anybody, we can do anything. And that's a pretty cool and dangerous thing, right? Um, Dreams have influenced my kings, given insights to world changing scientists, and inspired gifted artists as well. The curious artists and the scientists throughout time have studied dreams and searched for people who could interpret them. So, dreams are an endless fascination for humanity. A dream, according to modern psychology, is defined as a sequence of sensations, images, thoughts passing through a sleeping person's mind. So, in order for you to experience a dream, you have to be in a sleepy kind of state. And the question is, what does it mean to be awake and sleepy, right? Because there are a couple school of thoughts here that talks about that when you actually awake in the real world and like in the so-called like reality, like you know way of living, it's kind of like some studies say that you are sleepy, like you're so sleepy, it's sleepy of its true nature. And they're also talk about the people who are in this like so-called reality, talk about like when you're sleepy, you're like going in la la land, you're just going around and in realms and you're not really connected here. So which of the points of views are correct and more in alignment to reality is the $1 million question. Yeah. um, as you know, there are some great psychiatrists and study um, some people who have studied this whole idea, this whole concept of dream, like Freud, Jung, Hobson, and they were more into this like represent. They were trying to understand like the symbols, like the symbolic dreams, like what they represent. They were trying to like make sense of things that didn't seem to make quite sense for the conscious mind. And I believe in order to interpret a dream, you can't quite just use your thinking mind. I think there are some things like abstract in the abstract word. I think it's kind of a waste of time to use your rationality to try to make sense of things, that because you need to come from a more like sensitive like space. You have to come from a more like vulnerable state in order to be able to see, because the thinking mind is really limited to see, hearing, thinking, and it's just limited to data, to memory, to information. But when it comes to dreams, like you can't just like find too much logic into it. There's way more that hasn't been reviewed yet, and even in the current times that we live in, right, it is still a mystery. And that's why I'm so passionate about this realm, and like, you know, studying this and having like sessions with my clients, one-on-one sessions where we just dive deeper into trying to understand like dreams and the concept of dreams, and like why are they having these dreams? Is this like based on a trauma they've had in the past? Is this based on a deep desire that is there? Because ultimately, what Carl Jung has brought on to us is that the goal in a lifetime is to obtain self-mastery, is to become whole. And the way to become whole is kind of like putting all little broken pieces together. And the broken pieces are, you know, the broken pieces of your heart, your mind, your body, your soul. Is kind of like bringing them all together. Because we've been taught since very young to only show up the good sides of us, the what is acceptable by society, right? So we learn to repress a lot of those things that are not really accepted. And right now, the journey is about showing like vulnerability. It's just showing like being weird. It's just people are tired of seeing themselves. They know that they're not that thing. They know that that which prevents you from showing who you truly are is this thing called fear, which we're going to talk about like as we kind of dive a little deeper into dreams. But fear, in a way, is this like force, right? That to me acts like a layer that basically prevents, you know, the whole dance between yourself in the universe, or you as the universe. So you want to flow with the universe, you want to just be free and really like allow the authenticity to come forth by tapping in all things at once without having to feel limited about that voice in your head that tells you this is not acceptable, this is acceptable. And in a way, when you dream, I think fear plays on like a certain amount of like, you know, there's a certain amount of fear. I think you still experience fear, but you're not aware that you're feeling that you're afraid. So if that charge, that's why you have a nightmare, and sometimes you're able to go through that nightmare and the experience that it's a nightmare, right? You're still there, you're not running away from it until it gets to your conscious mind, and then you run away from the experience. But typically, like when you're able to experience a full night in a full nightmare, that means you're not fully conscious of it. And that again, there is like a certain amount of fear that is playing around, that is driving the circumstance or the storyline that you are playing in and out. But it, you only want to run away from it when it comes to the conscious mind, that part of you that says good and bad. And typically nightmare is seen as something bad. So there's like a part of your conscious mind that is like judging already, like it's not acceptable to have nightmare, therefore I'm gonna wake up. But in reality, if you were just through the experience of nightmare, if you were just there flowing with the experience, you would wake up and try to look back and say, well, there wasn't like very much a positive dream. This happened and this happened. But you're not gonna say like I was afraid, because you you would not know that if you were afraid or not, unless you were tapping into your conscious like, you know, state of being. So there are some researchers that have shown that people who are deprived from entering the dream phase of sleep exhibit symptoms of irritability and anxiety. So when you're not able to dream and you stay awake most of the times during at night, you might notice that during the day you feel more vulnerable to like circumstances, like, you know, anything kind of triggers you some sort of discomfort, or if things are not your way, you're like, I'm out. Um, and when you're able to have like a full night's sleep where you can go pretty deep and enter like a high state of dream and everything, it feels like, to me at least from my own experiences, like the next day I feel like much better, you know. But again, how do you know if you have entered the dream state or not? If your brain is still like creating like thoughts and a lot of them are not really making sense, would you consider that a dream state? It's kind of like a in between, because dream really means involving this like mix of, like I said, um of sensations, of like feelings. It's really like tapped into knowing. So whereas when you watch a movie, you have to hear the voice, you have to see the images, and um, even like feel like, you know, what do you feel about, what do you feel for yourself for watching this video. In the dream state, it goes so fast that a lot of the times you don't remember what happened. You just have like a little tiny of information, like of like, oh, this is what happened. I met someone on, you know, on this pathway, who was basically bringing on um a memory, an experience that I've had in my childhood, or like, oh, I just saw myself as a child, like playing on this park and just like laughing out loud with kids. And sometimes, like, you know, when you come back to the real world, quote marks, it's kind of like you just have like a flashback of that experience, and you can't quite understand what was that whole thing that was playing on. I think dreams are also so, sort of like the place where your psychic energy, like your true self, your spirit, creates its like physical reality. So if you feel like you are at this moment already in your journey where you dream about things that you start seeing in the real world, that means you are on the right path. Like as above, so below. So like this whole concept, the idea of God is when you're able to manifest the divine spirit to physical life. So you are living what you were meant to be. But you also have this idea of like dreams as like a dream of like, oh, a desire, right? Like how do we differentiate like the dream as like the desire of becoming a famous soccer player or a famous painter, versus like the dream of like you meeting a person who introduced you to your soulmate, and then like you see yourself like meeting someone who seems to be your soulmate in the real like world, right? So there's that as well, which is sort of like a mystery. And yeah, there are just several school of thoughts for that. I'm not here to influence your way of like seeing one as right and the other one as wrong. I think all this like ideas and point of views about the true concept of like what our dreams are for acceptable. But the idea that dreams are nothing more than meaningless biology does not sound logical, as everything in this universe has a meaning and purpose. So when you talk to someone who is a little like close-minded, close-hearted, right, who is just so about facts and data and information, and that's okay to be like this, because these people, they're able to accomplish and realize so much things in life, yet they are also limited from seeing and experiencing more. And that's something they choose to, maybe their energy, their true self, like have chosen to be designed this way so they can focus more, so they can, you know, build businesses and products and things that are more in the physical. They're more in physicality, not necessarily in spiritual. So dreams are at very least meaningful biology interpretation, like that to me doesn't like, it's not meaningless to me, it's like meaningful biology, right? So the interpretation of dreams differs among people because of the different situations, perception, right? Like I said, the what they've heard about it, what they've read about it, and ultimately a way of thinking. Um, so like I want you to think for a second, like right now, what is like a recurring dream that you've been having? Because those are the ones that you really need to do something about it. A lot of the times when you're experiencing something over and over, and it's like, oh, I keep dreaming of myself at a park as a child, that is something that could be resolved simply by, try to look at that, like try to bring you to that experience and like, what are you feeling? What are you seeing? What are you hearing? What are you missing? What are you craving? Because maybe that's like a part of you try to communicate to you and say, I miss having more fun. I miss being more in contact to elements and fun elements of my childhood. So again, if you understand that the way to obtain happiness and be successful and happy in life is by first realizing who you truly are inside and bringing wholeness to the physical world, then thinking about your dreams and what's going on below the surface, it should be something you should worry about. Yeah. Let's just go over a little bit. Like I said, I've been really curious about Carl Jung's work. Also Sigmund Freud, according to Freud, dreams always have a manifest and latent content. So like Freud and Carl Jung, they have similar ways of thinking. They've worked together, in fact. And according to Freud, the manifest content is what the dream seems to be saying. It's often bizarre and nonsensical. The latent content is what the dream is really trying to say. So dreams give us a look into our unconscious. Fraud theory states that dreams carry our hidden desires. So let's look at those dreams again, like that you were having. Not the dreams like as a desire, but do you think is it a match of like, what you're experiencing when you're sleeping with like what you're wanting in the physical world? Because if there's a mismatch, again, that could be the reason for why you're also having confusing thoughts or why you feel like in doubt of what path to pursue in your life or what to do about your life, right? So Carl Jung also believed in the existence of the unconscious. So his work is mainly around the conscious and the unconscious. So while Freud, he understands that, as something different than the conscious mind, Carl Jung did not see the unconscious as animalistic, instinctual, or sexual, rather spiritual. According to Jung, dreams are a way of communicating and acquainting yourself with the unconscious. They serve to guide the waking self to the personality, the ego, to achieve wholeness and offer a solution to a problem if you are facing a problem in your waking life. There's also a few other uh, authors, and I don't know how they're considered, just researchers, right? Calvin S. Hall, his study of dreams on the content aptly referred to as content analysis because dreams are in essence thoughts. It's a cognitive process. Dreams provide a map or route to the inaccessible regions in your mind, otherwise known as the unconscious. Hall believed dreams are the best way to discovering personal thoughts and to explain your behavior. Again, according to Calvin Hall. There's also Edgar Cayce, and he states that dreams are our body means of building up of the mental, spiritual, and physical well-being. It's a way of quickening the dreamer to her own human potential. And by getting a good night's sleep, any person can develop more mature values, stretch their thinking, and right oneself. So he treats dreams, right, basically as a place where you are able to like look at the water and see what are the elements they're playing around and then just putting them in order. Maybe the water is not the right example, but almost like looking at a box of like um filled with objects and they're all over the place, and kind of like your dream is like that box, and then you open up and you try to put things in order and you try to get, what do I need now, this, and in a way to improve one's life. And also there's a Crick and Mitchinson based the theory on the fact that the cortex, unlike other parts of the brain, is made up of richly interconnected neuronal networks in which each cell has the capacity to excite its neighbors. It's believed that memories are encoded in these networks, and when one point of the web is excited, a pulse travels through the network, prompting recall. These networks have a tendency to become overloaded. If a lot of memories with extreme emotions are sent for encoding, the brain needs an output source, which is in the form of dreams. Too many memories in one network may produce either bizarre associations to stimulus, which creates our fantasies, the same response whatever the stimulus, creating obsessions or associations triggered without any stimulus, which creates hallucinations. So we're not going to dive deeper into this aspect here because I know a lot of people are having like mental health issues right now, and when it comes to not really being able to discern their own fantasies from reality and hallucinations to like something that really happens in the physical, or the question is whether what they are experiencing internally is really affecting the external, or there's no relation whatsoever, or maybe the external could be influencing the internal. And I think it's a dance of these three because it's all around body, mind, and soul in a way. Which one comes first? There's no way of saying which one comes first because they're all intertwined. Those are like we are the five elements, and they manifest themselves through the physical, through the brain, mind, the body, and there's no way to locate your awareness specifically in one place or the other. So there's like also a main study that I've been reading recently from Simon Freud's theory of dream analysis, and it talks about the stages of sleep. So the stages in the sleep cycle are organized by the changes in specific brain activity. So the stage one is you entering into light sleep. This stage is characterized by non-rapid eye movements, and it's kind of like, the NREM. You probably heard of it. And there's like the muscle relaxation, lower body temperature, and slow heart rate. The body is preparing to enter into deep sleep. That's the stage one. So stage two is also characterized by NREM. This stage is more like it's characterized by a further drop in body's temperature and relaxation of the muscles. The body's immune system goes to work on repairing the day's damage. The endocrine glands secrete growth hormones while blood is sent to the muscles to be reconditioned. In this stage, one is completely asleep. So notice that I said asleep. You might see yourself as states where you're like asleep, but you're not fully asleep. Stage three is still in NREM stage. This is an even deeper sleep. Metabolic levels are extremely low. And stage four is like in this stage of sleep, eyes move back and forth erratically as if watching something from underneath eyelids. Referred to as REM sleep or delta sleep, this stage occurs at about 90 to 100 minutes after the onset of sleep. Blood pressure rises, heart rate speeds up, respiration becomes erratic, and brain activity increases. Involuntary muscles also become paralyzed or immobilized. This stage is the most restorative part of the sleep. The majority of dreaming occurs in this stage. So if you are awakened during this stage of sleep, a person is more likely to remember dreams. Keep a journal next to you. This video might really want to make you like understand better what's happening while you are asleep, right? These stages repeat themselves throughout the night during sleep. And as the cycle repeats, less time is spent in stages 1 to 3 and more time dreaming in stage 4. In other words, it will be quicker to get to stage 4 each time the cycle repeats. You know what happens when you're dreaming. The human body also undergoes noticeable changes. Adrenaline rises, blood pressure increases, heart beats faster. It should be no surprise how someone with a weak heart can die in their sleep. During REM, blood pressure and heart rate fluctuate and increase. It sounds like the body goes through a lot, but in fact, it's quite the opposite. During REM, human bodies are completely immobile and your muscles remain completely relaxed. A person may shift in bed throughout the night, but when in REM, he or she is completely still. So the mind is as active as it is during waking time. However, chemically it's different. So REM is controlled by the excitability, you say like excitability level of the, I think it's called cholinergic neurons, and noradrenaline and serotonin are missing the brainwave in the dream state. Those are like kind of like deeper topics. We don't need to go about it. But those chemicals allow the brain to carry out tasks, solve problems, and remember things. This is the reason why people find it so hard to remember your dreams. And obviously, there are different characteristics of the dreams. I could say like in a personal like way of saying like what are the characteristics of my dreams, right? Oh, I feel like some are more um nonsense, kind of like just flashback images and things that seems to be going on that I'm completely disidentified. So try to rate yourself also on a scale of 1 to 5. How identified to your dreams you feel like the one you had last night, for example? Did you feel like was it fully you, or like was just like an experience that kind of happened through your brain where you just feel completely disinterested by them? There's also those dreams where you feel completely like in it, like you just like, oh my gosh, I just came back from Europe. This is literally what happened. I was in Europe in this dream and I just got up here. um it's possible, right? Like some people have related the really like vivid dream, or the whole body, the whole, all the emotions, thoughts, and feelings were so involved with the experience that was like appearing through images and feelings, and through like the sixth sense, that they can say I was really in Europe, and I won't deny that you were there, because again, you all understand that your physical body in a place and time without its ability, without the ability to feel, hear, and sense, is just a dead body, right? Like if you can't quite like tap into your soul, into your energy, and you're just moving around through life by just touching things and really just being so limited by your five senses, and yet not being capable, not feel, being able to really, really be in your senses, it is kind of like an skeleton. And I know this example might sound a little off, but my point is, if your body is still and a part of you, the essence in you, is able to experience like things through six, seven senses, and they like really, really felt like they learned something, that they brought something with them to the present moment, then what's the difference between what the body experiences in a time and space moment versus to what the body, like what the soul actually experiences, right? I don't know. This at this point you should be reflecting a little bit more about the importance of your dreams, and not just neglect them, or not, and not just like feel like, oh, they're just biological activities in the brain. Well, let's just talk about the characteristics of dreams according to Hobson's study. um Hobson's is he was a sleep researcher, J. Allen Hobson, and he identified 5 basic characteristics of dreams. So one, dreams often feature intense emotions. Yeah. It's quite normal to have highly evocative dreams featuring extreme emotions, whether one dreams of intense fear, being chased by, or public humiliation, finding yourself naked on stage. I would not be embarrassed by that one. Just kidding. Hobson's dream research found that the 3 most common dream emotions are anxiety, fear, and surprise. So notice what are the emotions that are more present during your dreams. Most likely, there's a relation in what you're experiencing also in the physical, whether you're missing this emotions more in your life, or whether you're experiencing them in excess, either or something else. He also see dreams are often disorganized and illogical. So when dreaming, when you're dreaming like non-lucidly, certain parts of conscious brain are shut off, allowing fantastical thought processes to run wild. The resulting dreams are logical scenarios with disorganized content. Hobson formally identified that dreams contain illogical content and organization, in which the unities of time, place, and person do not apply, and natural laws are disobeyed. Dream content is accepted without question. So dreaming minds fully accepts the bizarre and illogical characteristics of dreams due to a powerful emotional state. And according to Hobson, people create strong emotions and perceptions in the dream world that support what we're experiencing, no matter how strange. He also sees dreams often contain bizarre sensory experiences. So basically, in dreams, the human mind has to let go of the experience of lying and sleepy in bed and submit to a full range of sensations produced internally by the dream world. So, just the last characteristic of the dreams is that they are often difficult to remember. And REM sleep is characterized by low levels of serotonin and high levels of acetylcholine, making dreams difficult to store in short-term memory. In fact, dream research suggests that 95% of regular dreams are forgotten upon awaking. But there's always like a time in between when you wake up, right? And you probably heard that before, but it's kind of like you are kind of like a sleepy and awake, and you still feel like you're on a dream and you are in the physical world. So I wanted to bring more mindfulness and awareness moving forward, like after watching this video, to what is truly happening there. Because maybe there's a message for you. The It's only available at that dream, at that moment there, that you're not quite aware yet. Maybe because your brain knows what it is and is trying to run away from it. Like unresolved trauma, for example, it's something that happens easily with with any person, and there's obviously that tendency to repress the sensations or the things that dream is bringing out to you. So you just want to usually forget and go on with your day, when in reality there's so much potential for healing by embracing really that feeling, that knowing that there's like something that I can take from here, there's something for me to learn, there's something for me to heal from. So there's way more to cover when it comes to dreams. And as I continue to do my studies and inner and outer studies, I'm going to be sharing with you throughout, you know, this channel. I do know that like um, I end up kind of mixing different elements of self-awareness to this platform, to this channel, to Ra Maria. So I want to focus more from now on still like explaining and diving deeper into self-awareness, into the elements of like emotions, spirituality, but around the dream word, around understanding like the word dream. And until then, just keep dreaming. We are in the physical to manifest the dreams. Not all the dreams that you dream of, but the dreams you've been holding on for so long, that it's like this burning desire within you. So that's it for me. Till next time.